Hello, Curious. When thinking of Hugh Hefner, many associate him with beautiful women who he was lucky enough to date and who got to live with him in the Playboy Mansion. To some from the outside, it looked incredible, the parties, the ladies, but as the trailer for the upcoming A&E docuseries Secrets of Playboy seems to suggest that on the inside it was completely different. What do we know about the show and what can we expect from it? What have Hugh's past girlfriends and the original stars of The Girls Next Door have said about their time at the mansion? And what did his #1 girlfriend Holly Madison say of their time together? Stay with us until the very end to delve inside the world of Hefner. But before we continue, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, turn on the notifications, and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos that we publish daily. In recent months, there has been more talk about the late Hugh Hefner, and that is all because the A&E network had revealed that they will be making a documentary about the Playboy's dark secrets, and the production promises to, as per the press release, explore the dark reality underneath the glossy exterior of Hugh Hefner's Playboy empire and its far-reaching consequences. And according to the New York Post, the 10-hour docuseries is set to premiere in early of 2022, and it is set to feature exclusive interviews from people on all levels of the Playboy ladder, including Hefner's former girlfriends Holly Madison, Bridget Marquardt, and Sandra Theodore. So despite the fact that after Hugh's 2017 passing, his obituaries were largely positive, and it seems that now people are eager to open up and talk about what the life at the mansion was really like. And from the first trailer of the series, we can tell that things might have not been as perfect as some has thought, as in one of the confessions, Miki Garcia, director of the Playmate Promotions, is heard saying he really did believe he owned these women. And while his former #1 girlfriend Holly Madison had said things weren't all that pretty.
Getting into the Playboy world was a dangerous choice.
And while it looks like we have to wait until early 2022 to find out what life inside of the mansion was allegedly really like, well, why not look at what has already been said about what life in the mansion was allegedly really like? And one of those people who has been most vocal about their past with Hefner has been none other than his former #1 girlfriend Holly Madison. And as some of you might remember, the 41-year-old was in a relationship with Hugh from 2001 to 2008. And their relationship was documented on the reality show that aired on E! Titled The Girls Next Door, where the first 5 seasons were centered around the then-girlfriends of the aforementioned Holly, Bridget Marquardt, and Kendra Wilkinson. And given that Madison and Hef had been in a long-term relationship, she started thinking about what the next steps in life should be, such as getting married and having children, which was something that Hugh was not interested in, and that eventually became the reason that their relationship came to an end. Though, where the show is concerned, once Holly left, Wilkinson also made the decision to do so, and as for Bridget, she moved out around the same time, but temporarily to film a show for the Travel Channel, though in January 2009, she had ended her relationship with the Playboy founder and moved out permanently, though several years later in an interview, she said that she wanted to move back in. And if you want to know more about the mansion, you can do so by checking out our previous video by clicking on the link above. But for now, stay with us to find out what life there was allegedly like. After his passing, both Marquardt and Wilkinson had paid tribute to the man with Bridget on their social media, writing that she was grateful for all the wonderful memories and amazing experiences that she had with the mogul. And Kendra, speaking with Entertainment Tonight, said that Heft had changed her life and that she would forever be grateful for their time together. And while many others had only spoken positively about the one person who never paid tribute to him was Holly Madison. And over the years, she had talked about how life in the then mansion and being Heft's girlfriend wasn't all what it cooked up to be. And in 2015, she had released her book titled Down the Rabbit Hole: Curious Adventures of the Cautionary Tales of a Former Playboy Bunny. And in it, she talked about their relationship and the aftermath of it once she left. And she candidly talked of her depression while inside the mansion, claiming that Hugh had emotionally control over her, and that she had also talked about how before she officially became his girlfriend, she was assured that none of the women actually had intimate relationships with Hefner, as she would later reveal that was not the case. In a tell-all interview with BuzzFeed, she had talked about her first night out with Hefner and the girlfriends, and that it was then that she learned that having an intimate relationship with the Playboy founder was a requirement of living there. And while the reality show had only seemed to show that being his main girlfriend, only Holly would get to sleep with Hugh, her revelations seemed to suggest otherwise. And she also talked that on Wednesday and Friday nights after the club, they would go back to the mansion and have group intimate relationships with the man, and he would offer them sedative substances. Where having intimate relationships with Hefner was concerned, it was talking about this publicly that had started a feud between Madison and Wilkinson. Appearing on the show Call Her Daddy podcast, Holly had talked about how she thought that Kendra wasn't being honest when she said that she had moved in with Hugh before sleeping with him. And talking about the situation, she said, "I'm not trying to slut-shame anybody or anything, but nobody ever got asked to move in unless they had slept with him." And that is also something that she talked about in her book, saying that it was a quote-unquote requirement for living there and that it was expected. Reflecting on those days, she had said that the two had had, and here we quote, a boring basic sex, and that while having children was something that she desired, she was glad that she never got pregnant with Hef, but she added that she was aware that it wasn't because of her, as because she was healthy, but it was because of him and he was too old. And given that during those days she was unhappy at the mansion, something that we'll talk about in a moment, she called her desire to have children with Hef a very Stockholm Syndrome type of thing. And here the thought is worth pointing out that she later got her wish, as with her now ex-husband, Pascal Rotella, she had 2 children with him. However, the topic of such relations was also something that Kendra had talked about herself, and while in interviews she had often stated that she had a great time living at the mansion and spoke fondly of Hugh, in her 2011 memoir it was revealed that she didn't love the more intimate duties of being his girlfriend, where she stated that she had to be intoxicated to survive those nights. But for Madison, being in the mansion came with other problems. As per her book, she had struggled emotionally and was bullied by some of the other women, and now some of you might be wondering how Hefner had treated her, and that was also something that she had talked about, revealing that he had treated her like she was stupid, criticized her looks, and she wasn't allowed to wear red lipsticks, and he hated her short hair, as she wrote in her book, and he allegedly told her, "You look old, hard, and cheap," and she claimed that because of all this, as well as being forced to quit her waitressing job, and thus losing touch with the outside world, she developed a stutter, and despite wanting to seek professional help, she was not allowed to do so to see a therapist, and after a year of living in the mansion, there was a time where she wanted to end her life. Here it is worth pointing out that most of the things talked about in her book had happened prior to The Girls Next Door, and when the reality show had come around 2005, she had revealed that it made things better for them, despite allegedly not being paid a dime for season 1. But it came to an end after she realized that Hefner was being verbally abusive to her, which is what made her snap and leave the mansion. Where Madison's claims are concerned, in the past, Hugh had released a statement about it in which part of it read, and here we quote, "Sadly, there are few who have chosen to rewrite the history in an attempt to stay in the spotlight, and I guess the old saying goes, you can't win them all." But over the years, there had been plenty of other former girlfriends who had spoken out about their experiences in the mansion. Isabella St. James, who dated Hefner from 2002 to 2004, had said that it's not all that it cracked up to be. In 2015, Carla Ho, who had lived there for an on and off relationship for 4 years, had said that it felt like being in prison, and mentioning the rules such as no guests and a 9 p.m. curfew. And in her 2004 book, the former playmate, Jill Ann Spaulding, had said that when it came to the intimate relations, Hugh refused to use protection and didn't offer STD testing for his girlfriends. Internet users and fans of both the former girlfriends as well as Hefner himself are eager for the docuseries to find out what the people involved will reveal about the Playboy founder. And they are also curious to find out what was the dangerous part that Madison had referred to in the trailer, though it could be that she was referring to the overall situation, which was, as we mentioned before, had led her to want her to take her life. Though to find out what exactly she's talking about and the other secrets, fans will just have to wait until next year when the show premieres. So curious, are you surprised by any of the things that you had learned about the alleged life at the Playboy Mansion? Do you believe what Holly Madison had said about her experience there? Or do you think that the atmosphere was completely different? And what are your thoughts on Hugh Hefner himself? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time.